Sports bettors, hopefully you tailed me yesterday on Underdog Fantasy because I know you were eating steak. We cashed a lot of these big entries. So what we're going to be going through today is just more profitable DFS picks on PrizePicks and Underdog Fantasy, and I found some absolutely incredible plays. So if you're new to the OddsJam YouTube, what's really interesting and kind of the reason, we started this YouTube channel is to really explain the math behind sports betting. Right? How do the pros, how do the sharps think about sports betting, right? The people who do this full time for a living. So one interesting thing, as an example, is PrizePicks and Underdog Fantasy are quite similar in that both platforms, they don't vary payouts depending on the picks you select, right? They're very similar in that way. On PrizePicks, any 3 picks in a power play, doesn't matter if you take overs or unders, you're getting 20 to win 100. On Underdog Fantasy, however, you'll notice it's pretty similar, but they offer higher payouts. You're getting 20 to win 120. So you're getting plus 500 odds. 20 to win 100 in profit, plus your $20 stake back is 120. So on PrizePicks, your payouts for 3 pick entries are slightly lower, so the implied odds are less advantageous, right? Essentially with PrizePicks, because you're getting plus 400 on a 3 pick entry, you're betting at minus 141 odds, right? You should essentially consider any prop you're playing on PrizePicks to be minus 141 odds if you're including it in a 3 pick entry, right? So the way you can conceptualize that is, would I bet $141 on this player prop to win back 100 in profit? Do I like the bet that much? Right? So you need to understand kind of how these DFS platforms work, how their payouts work, and how the math behind these platforms work. And it's pretty simple. We've gone through it in tons of other videos, so I don't want to dwell on it. But essentially, because Underdog Fantasy offers much better payouts, a 3-pick power play actually is pretty advantageous to the bettor. You're getting minus 122 implied juice on a 3-pick entry on Underdog Fantasy. So when you're betting on a player prop, you're comparing that line and whether you like it to minus 122, right? So as an example, kind of on PrizePicks, in a 5-pick flex, the math behind flex plays is a little more complicated, but if you assume the odds are roughly minus 119, being able to get Irv Smith in a 5-pick flex play or a 4-pick power play at minus 128 implied odds seems pretty good, right? Every sportsbook is juicing this from minus 155 to minus 175. So you may be wondering, well, that doesn't mean Irv Smith, is guaranteed to go over 2.5 receptions. There's no talk about sports. I don't care about the sports. I don't care about anything. All I know is I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 6 data points telling me where the line should be, right? These are very efficient betting markets. Hundreds of millions of dollars is bet on the NFL and player props. These sportsbooks know how to set lines. So we're using, because every sportsbook sets lines independently, you kind of treat each bookmaker as an independent data point of what the line should be set at, and then you look for value. So obviously, being able to get Irv Smith over 2.5 receptions in a 4-pick power play seems pretty incredible at minus 128 odds, considering every sportsbook has it juiced from minus 158 to minus 175 on Pinnacle, which is the sharpest bookmaker in the world. So, kind of like, it should be pretty obvious. We say this all the time, but sportsbooks imply win probabilities through their odds. So when the over is heavily, heavily juiced, right? When Pinnacle is giving you a very nice payout on the under, but the over is heavily juiced, it's because the over is a lot more likely to hit, according to the, betting volume they've seen. Sportsbooks are, an efficient market. As action comes in on the over, just like the price of a stock goes up if people buy it, if all the action is coming in on Matt Ryan under 1.5 passing TDs, the line's going to move lower, right? Sportsbooks are going to move the odds on his under from minus 140 to minus 150 to minus 160. It's a fair market. So we're using data in the market, to kind of tease out where is their value on PrizePicks. And here's clearly a soft spot on PrizePicks is Irv Smith over 2.5 receptions, if you want to play this on PrizePicks. So again, browsing odds on OddsJam, any sport you want to look at, NFL, player props, whatever markets you want to look at, that's completely free. And this is sports betting 101. If you want to make money, stop watching sports, stop watching highlight reels, It doesn't do anything, literally nothing. Look for value in the lines, and that's how you make money, right? So if you want to play any of these player props, look around, look for value. But anyways, the first pick I really liked on Underdog Fantasy is Thielen under 4.5 receptions in the Vikings-Lions game. I mean, pure value on this play, right? Every sportsbook juicing this minus 150 to minus 166. Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker, they're pricing the under at minus 166. So the under is minus 166. The over was plus 123, right? So the under, the true price with the VIG removed, is minus 139.17. That's definitely a pick we want to go with, right? So under 4.5 receptions is the first play we'll lock in. These ones we don't want. So we have Thielen under 4.5 receptions. I absolutely love this play. You should be all over it. This is clearly where the value is on the under. Every sportsbook has the under heavily juiced, right? DraftKings has this plus 120, minus 160. So literally to every bookmaker, the true odds is like minus 135. If you're using a no vig odds calculator, the most important calculator in sports betting, minus 120 to minus 135 to minus 140, you're going to get as the fair price, right? Caesars plus 144, minus 157, plus 114, I apologize. True price, minus 131. We're getting this on Underdog Fantasy at minus 122. Note, you're only getting it at minus 122 in a 5-pick or a 3-pick. As this sheet says, right? 2-pick entries, you're getting a lot worse odds on Underdog Fantasy. You're getting minus 137. So if you're playing any of these in a 2-pick entry, you should assume you're getting minus 137 juice, and you should determine if you still like the prop if you knew you were getting minus 137 juice. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But getting this at minus 122 and every bookmaker, that's an ARB to Pinnacle, it's just clear value. So this is the first pick I have on Underdog. A couple more NFL ones you can look at on PrizePicks if you're playing some 5-pick flexes and you really understand the math behind them. Christian Kirk over 4.5 receptions. We got Swaim under 1.5 receptions. St. Brown over 6.5 receptions. Mooney over 3.5 receptions. So a few options where there's some value. Again, these would be horrible in a 3-pick power play. The true odds is minus 127. Don't want it in a 3-pick power play. But Underdog Fantasy, next pick I have, A.J. Brown, under 5.5 receptions. Love this play in the Commanders-Eagles game. Let's go Commanders. That's my team. So we got A.J. Brown, under 5.5 receptions. That's play number 2. I'll give out a bunch more plays in the Discord, so feel free to join the OddsJam Discord below. But here, once again, every sportsbook, has this pretty juiced. There's some discrepancies between FanDuel, PointsBet, and then the very sharp bookmakers, such as BetOnline and Pinnacle. Pinnacle, the sharpest bookmaker, pricing this at minus 158. So again, this is why sports betting is fascinating. We're using real-time data to inform our betting decisions, and sometimes there is these discrepancies between bookmakers, and it's like, hey, BetOnline and DraftKings are 2 of the sharpest sportsbooks, so we're going to put the most weight in their odds, right? And I'm going to hit this minus 122. Final play I have is Matt Ryan under 1.5 receptions. As seen, every sportsbook has this juiced around minus 145, minus 150. So if you created this on DraftKings, you would be betting $250, as you can see right here, to win 1.1K, right? $250 to win 1.1K plus 365 odds. On Underdog Fantasy, right, what we're going to be getting is $250 to win 1,500. So our payout is going to be about 1.5 times higher. Plus 365 odds on Underdog, we're getting plus 500, right? So we're getting a lot better odds on Underdog, and this is the best 3-pick entry out there. So I actually have a lot of picks open for today. I gave out some other ones in the Discord, but regardless, here are the 3 picks I'm going with for the NFL. I also have a 5-pick to win $5,000, but Matt Ryan, under 1.5 passing TDs. Thielen, under 4.5 receptions. A.J. Brown, under 5.5 receptions. $250 to win 1.5K. Easy money. Let's make money.